This is a no-brainer. A story by William O'Connor. Chapter 1. The Grand Plan. The conference table was left without words. The gathered scientists and academics all looking at the speaker. Dr. Buffett smiled with complete assurance. Well, need I say it again? With the simple rules I have acquired, I can unequivocally state the success of this experiment will be a no-brainer. He gave a small, confident chuckle. Murmurs went around the table, but nothing indicating any doubting the word of possibly the nation's most decorated social scientist. Encrusted with more academic papers and titles than Hollywood has flops. Smiling, he looked around. I will say it one more time. I can assure you, anyone, no matter how inappropriate they may seem, will adapt and, yes, will emotionally and socially thrive. This is a vital experiment. When the eventual massive Mars colonization begins, does anyone believe months of rigorous winnowing of hordes of applicants is going to be possible? Especially if there are multiple sites? He hit the podium. No! A hand was raised. Yes, Dr. Buttworthy, did you have a question or comment? The older, refined-looking lady looked up and down the long table. Dr. Buffett, we discussed the general population, but truly, you can't mean anyone. He smiled. Let me entertain you. Does anyone here believe with the almost infinite examples in the history of man with ocean explorations, settling in inhospitable and unknown environments, that all the participants were vetted by psychologists and mental health experts? He held his hands out. Well, the esteemed group arrived at a consensus, deciding to activate the plan Dr. Buffett had proposed. The biosphere was to be inhabited by a group selected entirely at random, as if balls from a bingo game. There would, of course, be male to female balance, and, of course, racial diversity. There would naturally be mandatory basic requirements for meeting basic health metrics, both physical and mental, but other than that, the hand of chance was to rule. When Ernie saw the ad, he was ready to discount it, but figured, what the hell, the thing only lasts 6 months and you get money. He knew his chance of selection was about 0, but signing up was easy, just giving your name and basic personal data. Right after this, he called up his road dog, Taya. On Taya answering, Ernie's voice was dripping with excitement. Guess what? I signed up for an experiment. They feed you, you sit around for a few months, and at the end, coin. Taya held the phone away for a second, repeating Ernie's words incredulous. Free food and you get paid? Shit, where do you sign up? With that, both had their applications submitted. Dr. Elizabeth Buttworthy had been selected to oversee the selection of the 6 individuals to be sequestered into the biodome. She was surprised at the staggering lack of response. The opportunity had been widely disseminated, but the feedback was surprisingly tiny. On discussion, it was concluded the stipulation of absolute total isolation from friends, family, and society for 6 months had winnowed the willing participants to less than 20. What now? On consultation with Dr. Buffett, it was decided to amend the selection process a bit due to the attenuated response. They would instead select from the few that did fit the final selection criteria. In spite of this small interdiction, the effects would, by and large, leave it a random process. The biosphere was a gleaming glass dome, an impressive and staggering piece of technology. Silver ions enmeshed into the glass and visible to the naked eye, assuring constant flows of electricity. This just one of its many high-tech features. The structure was divided into 7 areas, some for living space, others for growing the food, and of course, areas to house the equipment assuring the sustainability of the dome. It was well thought out. All the water recycled, waste turned into fertilizer, even providing materials to give the colonists opportunity for entertainment. Relegated to a collection of board games, decks of cards, a smattering of books, things of that nature. The structure stood silent, only needing its first denizens. In an adjacent structure was the intellectual powerhouse. It likewise was equally equipped. In here, Dr. Buffett and Dr. Buttworthy, along with a contingent of other highly educated social scientists, were monitoring the entire experiment. The dome had multiple cameras, microphones. This was well planned and well thought out. Now, only to populate and monitor. The conference table was abuzz with conversation, all staring at a large display with photographs of the 20 applicants. The social sciences were discussing possible choices. Each applicant assigned a metric by which they would be judged. This first metric delineated by the state of their health. 4 of the applicants immediately rejected due to heart problems and/or possible diabetes. Now down to 16. Another 6 rejected due to their age. The program required an upper cap of 40 years old. The limiting problem was the lack of female applicants. There were only 4. It had already been concluded that the sphere had to have male-female balance, so by default, select one of the women to be culled. After much discussion, it was decided to let one of the 2 white female applicants go. She was really qualified, but they now had 3 women. It was perfect, a total success. They had a white, a black, and a Hispanic. This was critical. There had to be racial balance. This was paramount for the assessment of the experiment.